One, let's go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another beautiful episode of FanView. We're here to talk about title race, top four, and who we think is going to get relegated. And also, we'll also be looking at the FA Cup preview. Today, I'm here with a Man City fan, Bolan, who has always been on this show. Thank you for always coming, but let's get down to it. How are you doing? And tomorrow you're facing Arsenal. How do you feel about it?
I'm fine. I'm good. Thank you. Tomorrow we're facing Arsenal. I don't know. I don't have big expectations because I feel my team is not at the highest level. But we could win. We could lose. It's the FA Cup. You win and you're out. So exciting times, I guess.
Yeah. But before we go into the FA Cup, let's talk about the Premier League. Before we go into the title race and the top four race, let's have a quick chat about the relegation battle. But before we talk about the relegation battle, let's talk about Everton. Everton are without a manager now, and we are hearing that so many managers, they are trying to look for a manager. They are checklisting so many managers, Bielsa, Sondage, and I'm even hearing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to might be part of it, which is really funny. But then, what do you think is wrong with Everton at the moment, and who do you think will be the right manager for them?
Yeah, I personally think any manager that comes into Everton right now would have a difficult time working through things because the club is in a state of disarray. It's in a lot of shambles. I mean, going from the recruitment to the head, to the club owners, down to everything, I think the fans are really frustrated. You can see in the mood, the stadium, it's Lampard. So there are so many things that are going wrong. Like I think one very obvious example of what is going wrong at the club was even with the signing of Danjuma, and Tottenham were able to sneak him out like after doing the medical. So it's quite obvious how it looks like a club without a direction right now, without ambition, and it's looking really terrible. So I know Lampard was not good enough. I would say it. I think he should have been sacked a long time ago. But I think any coach that is walking into Everton right now is not walking into the best club, the best structure. So there's a lot of mess.
But then when you say Lampard was not good enough, I mean, you just said it again. You said anybody walking into Everton will not have an easy job. But then I think Lampard did well keeping them in the league last season. So why do you think is not good enough?
I think Lampard did badly, putting them into the position where they have to fight to stay in the league. I think the Everton squad, okay, away from the club misfortunes and the issues and the fact that they've not been able to support him in the transfer window, which I know, I think that squad is good enough to probably be in between 10 to 15. I mean, 10 to 15 comfortably without having to struggle or fight for it. So I think a better Everton side with better transfer budget, good scouting network would probably be in the 7th to 10th position, trying to jostle and fight for the Europa League spots. But without having such resources, the squad that they have right now should be able to be in the 10th to 15th position. I'm sorry, because I mean, you can see the likes of Brentford and the likes of, I would have said Southampton, but I think Southampton is doing badly this season. The likes of Brentford, the likes of, who do we have there? West Ham, maybe. I don't know. I think West Ham is still in a better position. But yeah, I think they are better off than where they are right now. I think they should probably be in the 10th to 15th position comfortably. If you look at the squad, they still have this back core of Pickford and Calvert-Lewin. So fine, Lampard has also had his fair share of injuries. I mean, if you look at the Chelsea time, when he left and that new manager came in, it suddenly looked like there was so much difference in just a short while. And I think this is one of the biggest issues of Lampard. His defense, he has never been able to organize the defense as he's able to. So despite being against Lampard, I think staying to the end of the season might have worked better because now it's really difficult to find a coach that would come in to turn this around. I think it would be very, very difficult. But Lampard didn't do enough. I think they could have still been in the top four. I just say top four. in the 10th to 15th position at the very least.
Okay. I just want to ask, before we even go into the Premier League, I'm sorry I didn't even bring this up, but then this is something I've seen on social media and a lot of people want to know our opinion about it. The Serie A, La Liga, Bundesliga and I think League One have spent 79 million, and Premier League have spent over 300 million at this moment we're talking. Do you think the Super League, the Premier League is becoming the new Super League, and do you think something needs to change in what the Premier League is doing at the moment?
I mean, the Premier League is the new Super League, if you'd ask me, because if you look at it, right, we're the first two clubs to pull out of the deal. So it's Chelsea and Man City.
Yeah.
Because at that point, they could actually afford to be on their own without having to depend on the Premier League, right? So, on the Super League idea, right? So the Premier League is actually the new Super League, because if you look at the amounts of money that these Premier League clubs are able to spend in comparison to other clubs in the top 5 leagues, it dwarfs it. Nottingham Forest in the summer spent over 100 million. I don't think you will find any other club of the reputation of Nottingham Forest in any other top 5 leagues that will comfortably splash out 100 million on like 30 new players in a summer transfer window. See Chelsea this January window, spent God knows how much. It's crazy. So I think it's not, so aside from the fact that we have rich owners buying these Premier League clubs right now, the amounts of money that these Premier League clubs are able to generate from broadcasting rights is huge. It dwarfs any other league. It is like you can't measure it on the same wavelength. Why? Because it is English football. The reputation is there. It's growing. The stature is there. They're now commanding the best coaches. You see a coach moving from Sevilla to Wolves, a coach moving from Villarreal maybe to Aston Villa. You could see them. You could see Everton at some point being able to attract the likes of Ancelotti. Do you get? So Premier League clubs are like so way above, like right now. And I mean, you could see so many clubs, so many players leaving clubs like Sevilla or Leipzig or clubs like that and wanted to go to Wolves and whatnot. Atletico Madrid to Wolves. So, I mean, it's obvious that,
Do you think do you think there's anything that can be done? Do you think anything should be done on it, or what do you think?
I think the only thing that could be done on it would really relate to the rest of the leagues, right? So I think one thing is we cannot actually remove the fact that this ownership by all these state-owned clubs and all these very rich individuals, no matter how much they know, it's like it's here now and it has come to stay. Very soon, in the next 3 to 4, 5 years, we're talking about Newcastle spending and pushing themselves to the top clubs in the next few years. And now we still have the likes of Dortmund and Wolfsburg, maybe, and they're not able to like command themselves. So what they have is this traditional reputation, right? And then we also have the likes of Barcelona and Real Madrid. Those are states that are like club 50+1 owned clubs. Like so Bundesliga. But you have the likes of Real Madrid that is supported by almost the whole of Spain. Barcelona, that it's a whole big, the amounts Barcelona is able to generate from tickets and tourism and all of that. Nobody can do that. So that's the only reason why those guys are still able to be at the top edge. But I mean, if you look at the rest, it's a shame, especially the Serie A. I think that's like the most terrible right now. Their stadiums are failing, everything is failing. And so I think it's just about trying to embrace ownership by private individuals and then being able to apply really strict rules on into how this money is being spent. Because I wouldn't say, I'm a Man City fan, right? And I know how much Man City has spent in the past. So I wouldn't want to say, okay, we should not allow these guys to spend. I mean, you can see how much Chelsea has spent. I don't want to know. It's going to pay off some way. You cannot spend that amount of money and it's not going to pay off some way. You can see the last time Chelsea splashed the cash like this, it's paid off in the Champions League. It's just going to pay off some way. Like, I don't want to know how you want to do it. Even if all the players don't hit top gear at once, you can have that kind of star-studded squad and you're not expected to pay off some way. So I think it's just about embracing the fact that the way football is now, money is going to be spent. And then you have to get those guys that want to spend the money at the helm of your affairs. But you just have to find ways to put those rules and regulation that will make sure that it is not being spent anyhow, spent recklessly, And so I mean that's what I think.
Okay. So let's move forward to the relegation.
I would ask you what you think anyway.
Me? I don't know. I feel like it's nothing that can be done, to be honest. Like, because one of my friends was saying, one of my friends is a Madrid fan, was saying that if after they get angry, they will just create a Super League on their own without the English clubs. And I'm like, even if you create a Super League without the English clubs, it won't make as much money as what the Premier League.
It won't make any money. I'm telling you.
I feel like it's just about Because in other teams, you always see one or two teams dominating the league, where in Premier League, where you have like six. So it's always going to be very difficult. And maybe if they want to catch up to the Premier League, they have to change their strategy. Because in Bundesliga, it's 50 to 1, 50 to
Yes,
1 ownership and
50
everything.
plus 1 year.
Yeah. And I think that's what Man U wanted to do. And now when I even think about it, I'm like, that's so stupid. What was I thinking? I know we have been under the glitters and we want to get out. We want control in our club. But like I feel like if Man City, Liverpool are getting rich owners, why can't we get? And that's what has to be done too in their own. So, because personally, if you ask me last year, do I want no, okay, let's just like last 2 or 3 years, do I want an Arab man to own Man? You are like, no, I don't want to be the next Man City. No, no, go for me. But now, to be honest, my morals are out. I'll take it now, and so I feel like that's just have to change their strategies. But then let's move on and see and talk about relegation. Which top three, which three teams do you think will get relegated and why?
Okay. So about relegation, right? So right now, I don't know what's going to happen with Everton, but I don't think it looks good for them. I don't think it looks good for them.
Because I feel like Everton are, I don't want to be this type of person and say, oh, Everton are too good to get relegated, but I feel like they are too good and too big of a team to get relegated.
I mean, they were too good to be relegated last season until the shock came to everybody's eyes that if these guys don't actually play well, they're actually going to be relegated, and there's nothing anybody will do about it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, at that point, then it showed why people were thinking like they were too good to be relegated, because I think towards the end of that last season, it was just Pickford, Richarlison, and the fans for Everton. Pickford making some really, really crazy saves. And then Richarlison turning up at some very, very pivotal moments. And then the fans were making a lot of noise and lots of pressure. So I don't think you can always have the luxury of that 2 seasons in a row. I think if you're not good enough, then you might go down at the end. And I also think Bournemouth might be relegated too. So I know they've been training on, off, but I'm not particularly fixed on them yet as someone that could escape relegation. I also look towards Nottingham Forest, maybe. I think they might still be able to go up one way or the other. I don't know.
At the moment,
I think my last choice
are 13th.
At 13th, right? But I mean, we still have like half games to go. So, yeah. I think my last stuff will be between Nottingham Forest or Southampton. So I don't know how it's going to go, but yeah, between them.
I mean, why you even look at Southampton too? Are they too good to get relegated? What do you think is wrong with Southampton? Because you just got a new manager.
Yeah, so I think.
And I've heard that manager is the worst manager in Premier League at the moment.
I mean, it beats Man City 2-0.
Yeah. But
so,
then,
yeah, about Southampton, right? I think one thing is when they sacked the at the end of last 2 seasons, right, with Ralph Austin, I've forgotten how to pronounce that his last name. Yeah, so the plan was, okay, fine. We want to move from this kind of style of football that we play into a more proactive football, right? So we want to get these young kids, we want to build our philosophy around them, we want to be able to develop this team. You know, during the Southampton of Pochettino that time, when they had the likes of Lallana, they had the likes of they had some really, really good players. Luke Shaw that time. They had some really money at some points. Yeah. They had some Wanyama. They had some really, really good core of young players. And so that was the idea, like, okay, let's try to do that again. And then you saw them doing the summer recruitment, buying the likes of Man City under 18 players, likes of this keeper Bazuno and this defensive midfielder at the ports, you know. Exactly. And then there's this Ketchup. This is a centre back. I've forgotten his name now. A new centre back, one very small guy, 18 years old or something. So, and then they were like, okay, let's mix it with the right brand of old players. But it didn't work. It didn't work. And then when you look at that midfield, you have Ward-Prowse putting all the stuff on his head. And then trying to create goals from free kicks and set pieces. You can't always have that for 30th game. So Ward-Prowse can always bail you out with 1 or 2 beautiful free kicks. But you can't score free kicks in all the games, right? So
yeah.
it's just one thing that
Speaking of what Prowse, why do you think no club has gone in for him? And do you
I
think
don't know.
big clubs should actually be going for him, like the top six teams?
I think I wouldn't say the top six teams, but I think the likes of Everton and those clubs are like a step forward, like West Ham. I really
Newcastle.
have, yes, Newcastle
Mhm.
have this set piece specialist in their team. Like I think it's going to really, really take you some points up. I don't know if any of the top six. So I don't know how Southampton, how what Prowse to play in a team that is like, traditionally positional play and passes and all of that. It could even be better there, who knows?
Mhm.
But I think his styling play right now, according to how Southampton plays, will be more suited to a team that is closer to the top six club. Newcastle, West Ham, I don't know if I could put Everton right there again anymore right now. So yeah. But I
Okay.
think with Southampton, the risk of trying to get new young players and mixing it with the right group of players has not been working because the likes of other players in the squad, Charlie Adams and the rest, they've not been up to par. So I think that's one of the biggest issues.
Okay. So before we go on, do you think David Moyes should be sacked at West Ham? Because I mean they're
No.
also in the relegation fight. Okay.
I don't think they should be sacked because I think what David Moyes is trying to do this season is also trying to move into a more proactive style. Sitting deep, sitting narrow, defending and playing on the counter attacks. They're trying to, okay, fine, let's try to have more possession. Let's try to do more with the ball. And stuff like that don't just change
Yeah, but
overnight,
like, why
right?
why do you think clubs try to change their style if it's working for them? Like I mean,
Because, yeah,
okay.
because I think most of them just try to look towards the future. Like, how can we put ourselves to a better position in the next 4 to 5 years, right? Like we want to give our fans, anytime they come to the stadium to watch us play, we give
Mhm.
this sense of feeling. We want to have this sense of identity as a club, stuff like that. That's really what pushes. And I think every Premier League club right now is having an high on Brighton. It's like, if Brighton can do this, why can't we? If Brighton
Yeah.
can play in such a beautiful style with the same amount of budget that maybe roughly even less than ours, why can't we try to emulate it or try to push ourselves to that? I think
Mhm.
that's one of the ideas. And it's not easy. Not everybody's going to be a Roberto De Zerbi or a Potter, or not everybody's going to have the Brighton recruitment team at their back. But with Moyes, I think if we really want to repay him back for how much good he has done for West Ham, at least you would give him to the end of the season.
Okay. I mean, you've mentioned De Zerbi, and to be honest, I've seen a lot of people talk about him. And to be honest, I don't want to say I don't rate him, but then I just feel like if Potter wasn't in Brighton and they won't play that type of football, would he come and have the same impact he's having? Like if
I
let's
mean,
just say they sacked Moyes now and they called him, would he come and play the same football that he's playing right now at Brighton?
I wouldn't say exactly. I think the foundation that Potter set as is very
Mm-hmm.
important. But I think for you to be able to bring in your ideas and have the players execute it so quickly is a sign of being a top coach. I think it's very similar to what you saw with Tuchel.
Yeah, but then
Now,
it's not
Potter, yeah,
far
it's not
from
far,
okay.
but it's different. It's very different. So what Brighton tries to do is what I call artificial transitions. So, right, what they want to do is they want to be in possession of the ball, and yet they don't want to do this passing around, tiki-taka, not having enough stuff to do with it. So what they do is they stay deep, they bait you, you come to press, and then they play quickly, pap, pap, pap. They're out of the box. So they are always trying to find in the central areas what is there because is land of promise. So in between the defensive midfielder and the center circle, there's a space there that if your player that is a very smart midfield player is there, the whole pitch is open to him. He can pass to the right, can pass to the left, he can pass to the middle. They're trying to get the pitch, the ball to that center. So that's why you see them when they line up, they have two defensive midfielders. I wouldn't say two defensive midfielders, but they have two guys at the deep of the midfield, Casado and McAllister. So what they do is try to play the ball quickly around the press, get the ball to those two guys, and then they progress the ball from there. So and then if it doesn't happen like that, they keep possession. If it happens like that, they do that and they're on the transition. So you see Brighton pass and they're attacking you straight forwards with likes of Mitoma, very good dribbler on the wing. Match, which is turning to be another sort of player that we've not seen in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Someone that has been like very, very good under De Zerbi. Now they
Zerbi.
have a young guy, Ferguson, and that guy is eating the form like terribly well, and he's like 18 years old or something. So I think if you see all the positives, it's obvious that this guy is actually knowing what he's doing. And it was even on top of the Ukraine League before the
Shakhtar Donetsk.
entire year, exactly, with Shakhtar Donetsk. And his work at Sassuolo was exceptional before he left Italy. I think at one point, you remember Sassuolo were being mentioned everywhere, like, should watch these guys play. They're playing, they had the likes of Berardi and Locatelli in the midfield, and they were playing really, really well. So I think it's something that has been common. Like, it's a coach that I've actually paid a lot of notice to. And yeah, so he deserves the applause.
Okay. So before we move on, before we move on, you said your relegation team that are likely to get relegated. Your prediction is Southampton or Nottingham Forest. Southampton or Nottingham Forest. Who again did you mention? Everton and what again did you mention? Everton and what team did you mention again?
I mentioned
Bournemouth,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, / Southampton, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let's try and move on to the European side of it. First of all, do you think Brighton will make any of the European place?
I think that question will be really influenced by how much transfer activity they're able to do during this window. I think they're a little bit short at centre back. Levi Colwill is injured. And then I think aside from that, it's only Lewis Dunk that I think is like the first choice and very good out there. Mm-hmm. I think the fact that they've missed Trossard, they might still need someone in that position to the end of the season. So I think they're looking to buy a centre back right now. And yeah, so I don't know if they'll be able to make the European spaces. Not sure, but I think they could, because last season we saw West Ham carry this kind of form and they were able to finish in Europe, Europe sports. So why not? I mean, aside from Newcastle, and yeah, they could. I mean, it's like Chelsea, but I think once Chelsea and Liverpool start getting into form, then it's really hard, because it now becomes a very tight position between the top six again. But I think once Chelsea and Liverpool or some two big clubs are not able to get to that form, then Brighton will be able to sneak in. But once Chelsea and Liverpool are getting into form, then even if they're not able to get into the top
you know what I mean, Europa League, I mean plus Conference League too. Because
okay. Well, yeah, if that's the case, well, yeah, I maybe they could. The Conference League spot for Brighton is good.
It's good,
so
yeah. And I would think they can go and win it next season. I'll support them.
Yeah, the Reserve is my guy. I think he's the one to replace Pep.
Okay, well, before we move on, so let's talk about top four, because I don't want us to talk about Europa League, because that means we're predicting the top four already. So the top four, well, the first and second are sure they're going to qualify. Man City, Arsenal, they're going to finish in top four. So we're going to talk about third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Who do you think is going to finish in those positions and why? Because personally, I feel before you make your decision, but don't make my decision make you change your mind. Yes. I feel United is not going to make top four. I feel like if we don't get signings like the way others have been getting signings, and it's just very painful that United have not learned that lesson. I feel like United wants to make top four this season. I feel like we'll just come short. But just go away. Tell us your third, fourth. Okay, start with fifth, sixth, and so your fifth place. Who are you choosing here?
So my fifth place, I think it would be.
No, sorry, sixth.
Okay, for sixth place, I think it would be between. Let me. Wait. Yeah. Okay. I think for my sixth, right, it would be between. I think I would like to start from the first, so I can put it down.
Okay, so you start from my third. Okay.
Yeah, from my third, right? So I won't put. Yeah. So for my third, I think I would have. Man U.
Why? Like, why is everybody having so many confidence in us?
Yeah, because I think a very good decider of whether you finish in the top four would be if you actually lose to Barcelona in the Europa League, then I think you're going to finish in the top 4. I think makes it less games. You win the Carabao Cup. If you get to win the Carabao Cup, extra confidence. If you lose the Europa League to Barcelona, which I highly think you might, that's what I think anyway. Less games to play, more focus on the top 4. The team is looking very strong right now, and I don't know if Rashford can keep this form to the end of the season because he's red hot. Like, is the most informed player in the league right now, and you have the likes of Sancho still waiting to replace Anthony because I don't think Anthony has any right to be in the squad ahead of Sancho right now.
I mean, he did well yesterday night. I don't see why people criticize him because I feel like he's really, really hardworking off the ball. Yes, maybe on the ball. This is his first season in the Premier League.
Off the ball, yes, true. Off the ball, I think he's hardworking. But I think if Sancho can offer you similar stuff off the ball, because I think I saw Sancho at Dortmund and his pressing game is very good. And yeah, so and Sancho with the extra outputs, I know Sancho when Sancho is playing, like he's an exceptional player. Dribbles, goals, creation, everything. He has everything. It's just so sad to see him. Like he's one of my players I really, really back. So, and you still have the likes of Sancho out, and yeah, you have Weghorst, which I think they add something different to the game. It's that kind of Ten Hag classic number 9. And yeah, so I think I see you guys in the top 4. If you probably don't go long in the Europa League, you play less games and you're able to concentrate your time on the Premier League. Imagine you playing 1 game per week. Mind you. Come on, man. I think you're going to enter the top 4. With the amount of time that guy would be able to coach into his players and get results, I think you should be able to enter the top 4. And I think for my 4th place, it would be Chelsea. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Chelsea or Newcastle. So I don't know, 4th or 5th, Chelsea or Newcastle. I don't know.
Okay, why you? Okay, you feel like, is it because of the transfer window you feel Chelsea can finish?
They have the transfer window and then the amount of injuries. It's like the squad that Chelsea has outside, those players that they have outside. Imagine you have starting of Mendy, Thiago Silva, Fofana, Koulibaly, Kurela, or Chilwell. You have Reece James or Aspilicueta. You have Kante. You have Giorgio. You have Kovacic. You have that Modric guy. You have Sterling. You have Ziyech. See the names I've mentioned. Like, that's the top 4. That's the top 4 squad. Those guys, like Chelsea has players, there's enough to guarantee them top 4. I'm serious. They've been unlucky with injuries, yes, and Potter has messed up sometimes. But come on, man, a full Chelsea team is going to fight for the top 4 because the quality is there. Like it smells quality. Like the team just actually smells quality. Like if you actually look at it, it's a quality squad. True and true. And then even without even regarding the new additions that they are having, and if I've not even mentioned João Felix, who's going to be with them to the end of the season. Imagine. So the team smells quality. Like they have the top 4 ingredients. So I think if Potter is lucky with injuries, and now I have to use ifs. I don't like using ifs, but we are trying to predict the top 4, so we don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. So if they are lucky with injuries, that squad is a top 4 squad. Like no, they have a better squad than Man United.
Yeah.
And that's so clean. That's just the truth. Now I don't know. Man United plays better than them. Good. Now, fine. But squad wise, on paper, they have a better squad than mine. I think they have one of the best squads in the league. Maybe top 2 for me.
Yeah, I feel like they're behind. They're just behind Man City in squad.
Yes, because the team is studded. Like it's filled to the brim. Every left, right, middle, center. It's very studded, star-studded team. So that's why. Based on that, but based on what we are seeing right now, I think Newcastle has a shot for it because if you want to be in that position that Newcastle is, you have to keep a lot of clean sheets. Now Newcastle started finding it out to score. In the last 3 to 4 games, they've not been able to score more than 1 or 2 goals. But Isak has come back from injury and they have Wilson. So, and Amiron patch has gone. I think it's actually a patch. I don't think it's going to be on fire as much as that anymore. It's going to pop in with some goals. St. Maximin is not even back to his best. And Amiron has gone. So imagine we have St. Maximin back. So, like, they still have those important crop players that could add the attacking influence. And the defensive part is also very good. So, that's good enough. Now, I'm not putting Liverpool in my top.
Sorry, don't you think they need more signing this January? Because I'm so surprised that they haven't made any signing in Newcastle.
Yeah, I think them getting a new midfielder this January would really, really work. But I wouldn't be surprised if they don't, because they're trying to build a model of not jumping into the. Everybody knows Newcastle have money. So if Newcastle is jumping from one player, that's what is doing Chelsea. Everybody knows Boli has money to spend. So if Boli comes to ask for this one, they will tell him 100 million. Or they'll tell him 80 something million. They will just float it for him, and they will just have to buy. So I think Newcastle is trying to avoid that. And Newcastle trying to show that we're not a club that wants to spray cash anyhow. We want to buy what we need, right? And then if it's the player we need, we'll spend the money. So that's it. And I'm not putting Liverpool there because I feel there are lots of issues with Liverpool right now. And I don't think they're going to get solved to the end of the season. The players' motivation, the tactics of club is not working right now. I think it's going to be the end of the season. I don't think they're going to do any resurgence.
I don't think they'll
enter the top four.
You don't think they'll sell club too?
No, they can't. They won't. I think they'll be crazy to do that. Because I don't think there's anybody that would come in. I could be wrong, but I mean, it's club, man.
Another thing, they're facing Real Madrid. I was going to say they could have a very good run in the Champions League and just win it.
No, I think they're facing Real Madrid. That would be really, really difficult. Yeah. Really, really, really difficult.
But I mean, it's revenge for them.
Yeah, it's revenge, sort of. I think I would have Tottenham fifth. Sorry, fifth, right? Is it fifth now?
No, you said
no.
You said
Newcastle, fourth or fifth between Newcastle and Chelsea.
Yeah.
Tottenham sixth, and then Liverpool seventh.
Okay, so you just kept them a bit above Brighton.
Yes, so Brighton eighth for me.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so now let's move to the title. Man City, Arsenal. I mean, Man U just broke history by becoming the shortest team in a title race for 48 hours. You just gave us 48 hours to feel like we're in a title race, and they took it away. But then now let's talk about the two title contenders, Arsenal, Man City. You once said in this show you're not scared of Arsenal. You were not scared, but then you just feel like Man City will win the league. Now I used to keep you that confidence, and
you keep asking me this thing. I'm scared of Arsenal, though. Because those guys are genuinely good.
Yeah.
Mommy. Yeah, so sorry for the
no problem. No problem.
So yeah, they are genuinely good. Genuinely good. I mean, I'm scared of them. I mean, nobody in the league is not scared of it. Like, look, just look at our squad. Like, the team is playing. They're playing so good. So good. And yeah. And it's really hard. Like, the thing is, I probably find them, maybe I'm like, okay, maybe they'll meet one or two big teams that will play on the counter and be able to beat them. But I hardly see Arsenal playing any small team, and they won't score, they won't win. And you really need to beat those little teams to win the league. Those are the games you get to win. You play against a fellow top six twice, right? Maximum of 12 games. And then you face the rest of the league. That's like, how many do we have in there? That's like 13, 14 other teams that you face that are not in the top six. And you have to face them twice. Those are the guys that win you the league, not the top six.
I predicted it before this season. Arsenal will not lose any game in the Emirates. And I'm still right. So
I don't know if they will not lose any game in Emirates. I will pray they lose to us. But
yeah,
they are genuinely
honestly,
good.
Right now I want City to win the league because I can't believe Saka scored against United and started doing Rashford celebration. God, that was...
It's not Rashford celebration, please. It's not Rashford celebration. Don't do that. The argument on Twitter these days has been crazy.
Okay, how can you?
Oh, they are genuinely good. They are genuinely title challengers. I'm really eager to see how we play against them tomorrow, even though I think tomorrow is just an FA Cup.
Yeah,
I think we'll be coming up with a strong lineup.
Do you think it will be a strong lineup, or it will just be...
Yes, I think it's going to be a strong lineup. I think it's going to be... Pep really fancies the FA Cup a lot. And now, playing against a potential title decider is a chance for you to go out there and push, how would I say it? Just show that we can win this and then set the precedent for the two league games to come.
Yeah.
Very similar to what happened against Tuchel when we played against them 3 times a season. And then we finally got to meet them in Champions League. We lost to them in the league. We lost to them in the FA Cup. And then on the big nights, we lost to them again. So it's very important from 1 or 2 games, even if it doesn't have this big importance, to just show that we are competing against you for the league, and we are going to push ourselves to show you that if we meet, we can win, whether it's the FA Cup or it's the league. So I think we're going to bring out a very strong lineup tomorrow. And I think it's going to be very good for us to win. And if you don't win, then it puts more pressure on us when we face them twice. I think it puts a lot of pressure on us when we face them twice. So I'm scared of Arsenal. I think they could genuinely win the league, because if you play half of the league and you have 50 points, you are doing something right. You are doing something right. So, yeah.
So you feel they'll finish first or second?
I think it depends on the 2 games we play against them. If I don't win the 2 games, they'll finish first. I think I have to win the 2 games to put myself in any shots. If I draw one, at least.
I mean, a super computer that does the Premier League just came and predicted and said Arsenal will finish first, United will finish second, City will finish third. And then when I saw it, I was happy. I was like, we'll finish about City. But then I was like, no, not this Arsenal team. Because he predicts them to finish 101 points. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking at the results so far, because they have like 50 points right now. Yeah. So yeah. And of course it will. Well, I mean, yeah.
You guys frustrated Liverpool. Thank you very much. You cannot just let us now have this easy. Just go.
I think one thing about Arsenal is just that drive of the young player. I don't know how long they can keep it. I don't know if it's going to stay to the end. I don't know if we can do the old Liverpool thing again. Mm-hmm. But they are genuinely good.
Yeah, but then when you talk about, I feel like Arsenal has the more difficult games to go, because you still have to face Liverpool at Anfield, face Newcastle at St. James Park. Okay, yeah, they face Chelsea at home. Okay, which is who they again are they facing? Why Man City just has to face Liverpool at home, facing Newcastle at home, facing Chelsea at home. So I just feel like it's easier for Man City, but then you guys just have to.
It's 8 points, and I think the biggest issue is those 2 matches we play against them. If we get 6 points against them, that throws it into a very, very strong fight. But if we don't get 6 points against them, to be honest, I think it's going to be difficult.
Okay, so let's wrap it up. You said you don't know between Arsenal and Man City. You don't want to choose. But then I'm going to choose for you. I'm going to tell you Man City will finish first, Arsenal second, United third, Chelsea or Newcastle 4th and 5th, Tottenham 6th, and Liverpool 7th. So you heard it here first from GB. He said Liverpool will be playing the Conference League next season. Well then,
that sounds crazy. Now that you said it to me.
Well then, before we go, who do you think will finish as the young best player in Premier League, and
I'm surprised you're asking who's the best player in Premier League, right? Is going to be Haaland, right? That's what I know.
But then at the same time, do you think Haaland should win it actually?
I think he should, because based on what he's supposed to do.
It's something everybody predicted, everybody knew, maybe apart from me. But then everybody knew he was going to score. He was going to score.
He has to score it now.
Like,
the thing is, you can actually say some players are going to dribble more, create more chances, and all of that. But Haaland's goal is to score, and then he's doing it at a stupid rate. Like scoring 4 hat-tricks before the middle of the season is mad. It's stupid. Scoring 25 goals is abnormal. So he's doing abnormal things. And I think Salah was the last person that, I don't even know if Salah did as abnormal stuff as this when he scored 32 goals. But this guy already has 25. He could score 40. Mm-hmm. And so I think he's going to win the player of the season. But young player of the season, now, I don't know on what basis do they give that off?
From age 19 to age 22, I think. Yeah.
Then I don't know how Saka is. I don't know.
Saka is going to be in a shout. Saka is going to be in a shout.
I don't know for that.
How old is Foden?
No, Foden. What? Foden, no.
Yeah, okay.
Foden has no conversation that in that scenario.
Who again? Yeah, I think Saka should just be the one to win it. I can't even think of
Saka
him.
or Martinelli or um, Mitoma, maybe. I don't know how old Mitoma is. I don't know how far Brighton is going to end this season. Yeah. So yeah. Let me see. Let me think. I want to see if there's any team at the other half of the table that is doing well, and I'm not putting in the shouts. Yeah.
Okay. So
Thank you.
your best manager of the season.
I think if Ateta goes ahead to win the league, it's going to be him. I think even if he finishes second and then there's a close shave, it's still going to be him. So
Okay. Okay, apart from the top two, which manager do you think should be the best, apart from Man City?
Brentford's manager for me.
Brentford.
Yes.
Jesus
Because
Christ.
I think he's doing really, really well. I think he's doing incredible stuff. I think he's doing very, very incredible
I
stuff.
asked that question to ask you about, to ask you if Ten Hag, I was expecting to say Ten Hag.
No. You said the first two. I won't put Ten Hag in the first. Like, if I'm not going to choose Ateta and or Pep, then why would I choose Ateta? Ten Hag, right?
You just came to the worst Man United team ever.
You guys spent 100 million on one player, right?
Okay, so let's
and you spent 60 million on Casemiro too. So it adds up, right?
Yeah. Let's change. So just before we go, just tell us, as from what you've seen this season, your starting lineup, best starting 11 in Premier League.
That's going to be difficult. Okay. I think for my goalkeeper, I would have Pope because Newcastle is the team with the best clean sheet so far this season, and Pope has really done amazing stuff. I think my centre back, I would have Thiago Silva. I think despite the shit that Chelsea has been through, that man has been putting in consistent performances at that age, match after match. Like, it's incredible.
People like that do see United as retirement home. It's all those.
Yeah. I think it's incredible. I think for the second centre back pairing, we'll come to that. I think for right back, I think I'll have Trippier. For that, for me, I think is massive. What he has done so far, massive, really, really massive. For the left back, I don't know, help me out here.
Is that Zinchenko or Luke Shaw?
Yeah, I think I'll pick Zinchenko. I don't know. He has not played so many matches actually because of his injuries. I don't know if he has played so many matches. I mean, in terms of influence, I think I would pick Zinchenko. I think I would pick Zinchenko, like up there. I think Zinchenko up there. The second centre back. I'm thinking. I think we'll get back to that. For the defensive midfield, I think so far, I would pick Casemiro because the influence he has brought to Man United. I think Rodri is in very, very good shouts, but I want to look at it from how influential are you to how your team is performing right now. So I think Casemiro is going to be in the shouts right now.
I say this: if Casemiro had played the Arsenal game, we won't have considered that. Let's go. But
no, I don't know because there are so many scenarios. But I think if Casemiro were there, there could have been avoided situations, right? So
okay, let's continue.
I think Casemiro, and then for the midfield, I would have Odegaard. Exceptional guy. Has been in top form. I would have KDB for some reason because he's still on top of the assist charts. Like, annoyingly, like I feel he's not playing to his best, but somehow, even without playing to his best, he's still topping the charts. So it's just weird, right? So that's the only reason why we have KDB. So my midfield will be Casemiro, Casemiro, Odegaard, and KDB. And for the left wing, I think I'll have Rashford because he's been doing amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. Most informed player in the league right now. For the striker, it is. So, I think even for Haaland, Kane should have been there, right? But Haaland is just doing absolutely weird stuff. So, yeah, for the right wing, I would have Saka.
Yeah. So for the other,
because, So for the centre back pairing, thinking
Saliba, Martinez.
I think if you would have asked me this question before the World Cup, I would have put Martinez. But now, no, I'm not going to put Martinez any longer because I think Martinez's influence is low till he gets back into the team once again. So I don't think I'll put Martinez right now.
Saliba.
But, I'm not going to put Saliba either. Nope. I think I would have Lewis Dunk.
I was thinking you're going to call a Newcastle centre back.
No, I don't think I think with Newcastle defensive stuff, they stand out as Trippier, and then the rest is more of a very cohesive unit. I think they're not individually, they don't like do individual stuff that stand out aside from Trippier in the back four and Pope. I think Lewis Dunk, in terms of what Brighton is doing, is being able to play with the ball. Like, based on a centre back that is good with the ball at the feet, I don't think you can mention 3 centre backs that are better than Lewis Dunk in that league this season. No. So for me, right, mine, I think I will have Lewis Dunk based on he's done amazing stuff. And I think shout out to Ward-Prowse because he has won some games with crazy set pieces. You know, shout out to Mahrez. I think Mahrez is having crazy season too. I think he's having a very, very good season. I think shout out to who do we have there? Tony. Shout out to Tony. Shout out to Harry Kane. Shout out to let's see. What do we have there? Help me out.
Partey.
Yeah, Partey. Yes, Partey. Now I would have chosen Partey ahead of Partey ahead of Rodri. So for sure, I think I would have chosen Partey ahead of Rodri. I think shout out to Saliba. Yes, you said.
Shout out to Luke Shaw. Shout out to
Luke Shaw. Yeah,
shout out to Ramsdale.
To
Ramsdale.
Yeah, sort of. I would say.
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah. No shout out to Ederson. No shout out to Alisson. Alisson before the World Cup was saving Liverpool's ass. But now,
okay. So before we go, just your prediction. Who is winning tomorrow? Arsenal, Newcastle. I mean, Arsenal, Man City. Sorry.
I don't know. I'm support my team. I'll support my team because I really want us to win. So, but I don't know how the match is going to be. Maybe it's 2-1 or something. I don't know.
2-1 Man City. Okay, so we've come to the end of
What about you? What do you think?
Okay. I think Man City win.
Okay.
I think Man City will win 2-0.
I think I will have to ask Jesse.
Yeah, you have to ask Jesse. I pray Man City wins. Because no. What do I even pray win? No, Man City.
Are you still in the FA Cup?
Yeah, playing Reading. But what I like about Man City is that they did it for me in Capital One Cup. They remove all the big teams and then one small team remove them. But that Arsenal, FA Cup is that trophy.
Yes. If Arsenal beat Man City, they're going to win it. I'm sure.
I mean, Man City win. You guys can always lose to another person again. Well, then, thank you very much for coming, GB. Thank you for all of you who came to watch. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. GB, any sign up before you go?
Yeah, I think my sign off would be I have always supported Ten Hag, and I'm happy it's paying out. And I think the next person for it to pay out for me is Potter. I always supported Arteta. I think when someone asked me who was the better manager at the beginning of the season between Arteta and Ten Hag, I boldly went for Arteta. So I think the next person for me to pay dividends is Potter. So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much for coming. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and see you soon. Goodbye. Okay.